Oh, I just dropped all my notebooks. Hello, my Sunny Bays. Welcome back. I'm so glad you could make it. Welcome to a dedicated journal ecosystem video. This is a mid-year check-in on how my system is serving me, what things have gone wrong and I had to change over time. I'm so excited because I know you guys love to see journal/planner focused content here on my channel, and I love making them. So this is going to be such a fun time just going through each journal at a time, and I'll definitely give you a high-level overview of my planners as well, although this is going to be a little bit more focused on the journal system. My planner situation is still in progress, which is the reason why I'm just going to kind of glaze over that, but don't you worry, I'm gonna have a planner specific video coming on a little bit later this year, maybe in August. That'll be super, super detailed. I'll go through every single insert that I have in it and all that jazz, because a lot is going to change in the next couple days and weeks. My journals though, I feel like they're at a very, very good place, and I'm so ecstatic about the changes that I made because I'm at peace with a lot of the adjustments, and it was very well needed adjustments, if that makes any sense. I'm drinking black coffee this morning because I desperately need to wake up, but let's try to do this in under 30 minutes because that's pretty much the amount of time that I have this morning to film. Let's get the quick one out of the way, and that is my planner. And like I said before, I will create a whole separate dedicated video on all the changes that I made. But right now I am using my Mulberry Postman's Lock Agenda. It's in the size A6. The insert situation is all over the place, but right now I am just using my monthly views and my weekly views so that I can see my schedule at a glance. I usually transfer all of my calendar items, workouts, any plans that I have, basically my entire schedule from my phone. I use Google Calendar on my phone because it's just digitally easier to access when I'm on the go, when I don't have my planner with me. But every single morning I transfer that information from my phone to my planner. In addition to that, of course, I have my to-dos and tasks in here as well, all in one place. Okay, now let's go ahead and dive into the journals because there's quite a lot to go through. The first journal that I want to talk about today is going to be my memory keeping journal because I do think that this one changed the most out of all the journals here. I take that back. I think there's a little bit of change in every single journal that I'm about to show you. Some changes are a little bit more minor, but my memory keeping journal saw the most amount of changes. If you need a little bit more context and background on what my journaling ecosystem looked like at the beginning of the year, I'll go ahead and link the video where I talked about it here, so you can go ahead and check that out before you continue watching this, because it'll make a lot more sense if you have that information, especially since this video is going to be more focused on the actual changes themselves and why I decided to go forward with them. If you saw that video, you would be familiar with my memory keeping journal being my Trifold from Paper Republic. This is in the A5 size. I just love looking at this journal. It is so beautiful and gorgeous, and the leather patinaed so nicely. Oh my gosh, she's a beauty. As I was saying at the beginning of the year, this was my dedicated memory keeping journal, and inside this journal I had my thicker book refill that was a dotted paper format from Paper Republic themselves, because the paper book size are very Paper Republic, like proprietary. Am I thinking of the word right? I think it is proprietary. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I need more coffee. So since I'm already invested into the Paper Republic whole journal cover system anyway, I decided to grab a couple of those book refills that will fit perfectly into these covers. And I don't regret that at all. I think that worked really, really well. So I had that one substantial book refill from them to document all of my memories throughout the week, throughout the month. So that was kind of like my yearbook situation where I post a lot of different photos of my life, just any highlights in my life that I wanted to record throughout the month. I would make a spread on, and I would also have some specific dedicated pages for specific events and outings, holidays, etc. So that was what that book was for, and it was inside this cover. And the reason why I'm not opening this is because the changes are already implemented. So if I show you what's inside here, it's not gonna make any sense. Also in this cover, I had two other smaller notebook refills by Paper Republic, and they were these. And I have them in front of me because obviously you can tell that I took these out of this cover for the changes that I'm going to be talking about in a moment. But basically, this was my dedicated travel notebook. So as an example, I went on a family trip earlier this year, and when I came back, I didn't actually document any of the trip related memories in my memory keeping, like memory keeping journal. Inside this cover, I did it in this book instead, because any memories tied to specific travel occasions, I would put in this notebook. I would open it for you, but right now I don't have any pages in here because I did cut them out. So it's empty, and I archived it somewhere else because obviously I want to archive everything in 2026 altogether. So since I'm not using this notebook anymore for travel related things, I went ahead and removed the pages out of here so I can use this notebook for something else. Maybe scrap paper, I don't know, brain dump, who knows, but it's a notebook nonetheless, and I'm going to make sure that I use the paper in here because I'm not wasting paper. This is the third and last book in the trifold, and the reason why I had this in here was because in a way this still felt like memory keeping to me, because it's me keeping memories of all the different types of media that I watched or read. So I would document all the books that I read in here, TV shows, movies, even video games, what else is there? Like anime, all of those things, and my thoughts and reviews would go in this notebook refill. And I love how I decorated it and everything. It's so cute. This actually was supposed to be my commonplace. Yeah, that did not happen in this little notebook, but that is the last notebook in the trifold that I kept at the beginning of the year. Oh, just to show you, I did actually remove the pages out of this notebook as well, with the exception of some of the beginning pages that I didn't want to transfer over, like my reading log. I mean, you would be familiar with this if you watch my other videos, but I didn't take the monthly favorites page out. I also didn't take the reading log page out, but I took all the other pages out with my individual book reviews or media reviews and put it next to the 2026 archive section as well. So at this point, you're probably wondering where my travel and media journal went if it's not anymore in my trifold. So hold that thought. I will get there in just a second. So just please hold. I did relocate my memory keeping journal, the book that used to be in here, into my bifold, and we'll get into this one in just a second. But let's go through what is actually now in my trifold, because I think this changed a lot. One of the big things that I tried to do with these two journals is to streamline my journaling process, because I just felt that in theory, I really like the idea of separating and compartmentalizing all of these different use cases. But because some notebooks that were in here I didn't reach for as much due to the fact that they're just more contextual, it created a little bit of friction for me. Like for me to open this notebook and not be using one notebook for months at a time, it just felt misplaced or not as purposeful. It was just taking up space where I really wanted to touch every single book inside all of these journals. So because that wasn't the case, I felt myself not wanting to open the journals as much, and that created and spiraled into a journaling slump. So to combat that, I decided to really simplify my journals that are housed in these covers. So in my trifold, sorry, I know I am very long-winded, but the context really helps you understand my train of thought, okay? So I'm disclosing everything that was in my head. One of the other issues that I had and that created a lot of friction for me when journaling is the actual tactile writing experience of using these thin, kind of lightweight notebook refills. I really don't love the paper in here. I thought I did at first, but the more that I wrote in it, the more I realized that I'm not a huge fan of this kind of like flimsy paper, and the cover as well. This is just not very substantial when I'm holding it and when I'm writing in it. It just doesn't feel permanent to me. It feels very temporary. It feels like scrap paper. I realized that about myself over time, that I really want to write in a thicker book that has like more pages and maybe with a better sensorial experience when I touch the cover of these books, because this is just, I don't know. There's something about it that doesn't really work with me. With all that said, let's go ahead and talk about the current journals that are being stored in my trifold now. So when I open this up, I'm so excited to show you this. I actually worked on the cover of this book last night, so it's very fresh and I'm very happy with it. It is a dedicated, thicker, more substantial book refill from Paper Republic as my media journal. So you can see that I decorated and everything. So that is the first book that you see when you open up my trifold. And this book is basically going to be what my media journal notebook refill was, but just upgraded. You know, this one is the older sister. It is the thread bound, thicker like book refills from Paper Republic. I really love it. It is a dotted format as well, which I love. It's my favorite. I'm not gonna flip through the pages because that'll be in an upcoming analog reset video, but this thin, flimsy media journal has now been replaced with this book right here, and I am still calling it my media journal. Nothing has changed really in terms of the contents in there, but I'm just using a different notebook for it. The other book that I have in my trifold now is going to be, I'm kind of calling this a couple of different things. And look at this fish, isn't that so funny? And I put a little sticker of juice on there. This is from Jamie Page Doodles. I'm calling this journal a couple of different things, like my whimsy / interest / commonplace journal. So it is what it exactly sounds like. It's going to be dedicated to spreads that I want to express my interests in. So for example, if I'm interested in learning something new about a different topic or object in life, or something that intrigues me that I want to learn more about, I would dedicate a page in here to document that information in the hopes that it'll expand my knowledge in that subject matter. I think this will be a really fun addition to my journal lineup because this entire trifold is going to be called now my hobby journal. I think that's so fitting. It makes me so excited because it truly feels like a consolidated area where I go to for all things that are related to my hobbies, like reading, journaling, any other interests that I might have that I want to take note on. So all of these things are now living in my trifold. I am not opening up my whimsy / commonplace journal because there are no entries as of yet in that journal, but I'm hoping by the end of the year that I would have had some time and dedicated effort to completing some pages in there and expanding my knowledge on some things that I'm interested in. All right, that's enough about the trifold. Let's move on to where my memory keeping journal went because it's not in my trifold anymore. My beautiful Paper Republic A5 bifold leather cover is going to be dedicated for all things memory keeping. So it now only has my memory keeping journal in here. There's only one book. Well, technically right now there's two books because I have my overflow notebook in here because I am almost finished with my first book that's for memory keeping in 2026. That's very exciting. I feel like I have not hit pan, or hit the end of the journal for any of my notebooks this year, except for this one. I'm very close and that gets me very giddy. This is actually not the exact setup that I want for 2027 once I'm done documenting for 2026, but this is what it looks like currently. I will talk through kind of what I am planning on changing for 2027, but it's not implemented yet because obviously we need to finish these notebooks for 2026 first. When I open this, you will see I have a bunch of stickers and ephemera in here, but the book that I am now storing in my bifold is my memory keeping journal, which is currently being dedicated to my book refill from Paper Republic, which are the same as the ones that I showed you in my trifold. So it's the same exact book, it's dotted, it's the same size, style, everything. And this is the one that I started the year off with. Actually, I think I started this book back in November of last year. Yeah, because I was like testing this out and making sure that I felt good with it to carry onward into 2026. So yeah, there's a lot of entries in here and I show you all of my pages in my analog reset, so I'm not gonna go through all of them, but basically this is the book that I am trying to finish up. That's how much I have left of this notebook. So once I'm done with that, I don't want to start a whole new book to continue on because obviously I don't think I would be able to finish that by the end of 2026. So what I did was have an overflow half-year book from Stalogy. This is the half year, so it's not as thick as the full year one that they have, and it is in their dotted grid system as well. And I'm going to finish up the 2026 journal year with this book because once I finish this, I still need more pages to write on. So yeah, I am excited that I get to give this notebook purpose because I bought this a while ago and I really honestly didn't know how I was going to use it. It's perfect for the overflow system, and once I'm done with that, that in 2027, what I'm thinking of doing is moving over to a completely different brand and completely different notebook. It's going to be still undated, but it's gonna change pretty drastically for me. I'm very, very excited for it, but it is going to be in the standard A5 size like the Stalogy. As you can see, the Paper Republic book refills and the notebook refills are slightly narrower in width. For my memory keeping journal moving forward, I do want it to be like a standard A5 size, which if that is the only book refill that is in this bifold, it actually fits perfectly. There's no overhang or anything. It fits like a glove in my opinion, but if you end up putting in more books in addition to that A5 standard size notebook, it's going to start getting bulky and very like, it'll hang out a little bit. As you can see here, I mean, I have two notebooks in here and the Stalogy one is the standard A5 size and it does ever so slightly kind of like hang over the edge, which doesn't bother me as of right now, but I think moving into the new year, I will just have that standard A5 size for the entire year, one book inside my bifold. So that is what I'm thinking so far, but we will cross that bridge when we get there kind of thing and see exactly where that'll land. And that is it for my bifold. So this is now my dedicated memory keeping journal. And like I said, my trifold is my hobby journal. And these are the two books that I am most likely using every single day, every single morning, night, just throughout the day in general, aside from my planner. Of course, I use my planner every single day and I look at that like periodically throughout the day, but my journals, these two are the most reached for now. And I love that about it because I feel like all the books in here, I genuinely am going to use fairly frequently, not all the time, but I mean like the Whimsy Commonplace journal, I'm not gonna be using that all the time, but more often than my travel journal. You know what I'm saying? That used to be in my trifold. That's a great segue to what happened to my travel journal because it's not in my trifold, it's not in my bifold, and it is taken out. I'm not using this journal anymore or notebook refill. A couple months back when I was traveling, I made a whole dedicated section of that video to show you my setup for my travel journal. And that is where I am completely migrating the travel content into. So it's going in here. It's my cloth and paper, clear cover. It's in the A5 slim size. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have not wrote a single thing in any of the notebooks that are in here yet, but it just makes more sense for me to completely separate out my travel notebooks because I have certain travel specific inserts and notebooks in this journal that it just makes more sense for me to use this dedicated when I'm traveling. I will link the video where I walked through all of the different notebook refills that are being stored in this clear cover because that will give you more information on that and I don't want to repeat myself. But yeah, this is now my dedicated travel journal. So whenever I actually go on travel, on the road, on the flight or whatever, this is the only journal that I need to bring with me. Also, when I come back home, this is the only journal that I'll have to write in for that particular period of time. And then I can just store it away until the next time that I travel. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having it integrated into my daily journals, I just like it separated. In theory, I obviously have to put it to practice to make sure that it actually works, but I feel like I like the vision. You know what I'm saying? I have two additional journals to show you, and this one will be a pretty quick one because I don't think there's a ton of changes in this, but this is my Paper Republic Le Trifold in the A6 size. And this is my portable on-the-go everyday carry notebook, but it's not a super daily carry for me, to be honest, because I only bring this with me when I know that I'm going to doodle. If you follow me on Instagram, you would know this already, but this is the journal that I use when I do my coffee and cocktail doodling. I post a lot of my spreads on my Instagram, so definitely go ahead and check it out if you haven't already, but it's basically a book refill from Paper Republic, and it's their like art book where you can use different mediums like markers, watercolors, like they have differing GSMs for their book refills, and this is the one that I have, and it's called the drawing book. So this is my cocktails and coffee doodle book, and I just love it so much. I haven't used it in a while just because I just kind of fell off of it for some reason, but I will show you a spread that I really, really love. This was when I went to a bar in DC, and this is kind of like the spread that I would make. This right side is where I actually doodle the drinks that I purchased, and this helps me really fully enjoy the experience and make it more memorable. And I do the doodles with pen while I'm enjoying the drinks at the bar or at the restaurant, and then when I come home, I put in all the colors and the pictures and all of that stuff. So this drawing book is in here. Behind my cocktails and coffee doodle book, I have a random notebook that's shoved in here, but that's going to be actually replaced by a notebook refill that is ruled, because I want to actually write in it and try out some observational writing or creative writing. I looked up some ways that I could practice writing, but also be in the present and be artistic, and I found out that there is a Murakami journaling method, and that's where you write. Actually, before I butcher that, I'm gonna read it from Google what it says. So Haruki Murakami's journaling method relies on discipline, detached observation, and physical routine rather than pure inspiration. It involves recording the mundane, external details of your day without judgment or immediate emotional analysis, allowing deeper truths to emerge organically over time. So basically, I'm going to bring this with me whenever I want to doodle or when I want to do the Murakami journaling, where I just kind of like focus on an object or focus on something that's surrounding me and just write about that particular thing in a very like mundane kind of writing practice manner. So I kind of want to have a journal for that in this book and call this my art journal or creative journal. So yeah, I mean, I feel like all journaling is creative, but this one is going to be more specific to kind of on the go artsy doodling and creative writing and things like that. I thought that made the most sense for this cover because it is so portable, and whenever I want to focus on my surroundings and being present, this is a good one, and it helps me be off of my phone. So that is the main objective of having this journal with me. Last but not least, oh my gosh, this video is getting so long. Hopefully I can edit it down to be around 30 minutes because that's my sweet spot when it comes to my YouTube videos. But last but not least, this is a very niche and contextual journal, and this is called my burn book. As you can kind of understand the meaning just by the name of this journal, it is my emotional dump, trauma dump, negative emotions like dumping ground. As someone who creates content online and it's going to be shown all over the internet, and my journals are on display on social media because I do create a lot of journaling and planning content, I needed a journal where it is not going to be shown on the internet. Like, it's for no one's eyes aside from my own. And whenever I want to really jot down deep feelings and thoughts, this is the journal that I'm going to go to. And it's pretty naked. This is the Midori A6 notebook without a cover, but I did purchase a cover on Amazon. It should be coming in soon. This kind of lives in the shadows in my home, and I just grab it whenever I'm having an extra hard time and need to process things a little bit more internally. So this is the book that is going to serve that purpose, and I'm glad to have this in my lineup even if I don't use this as often as my other journals. Alrighty, that is everything for you in regards to my mid-year check-in for my journal ecosystem and all the changes that I implemented or will implement in the future. I hope this was helpful and insightful if you are also rejiggering your ecosystem to work a little bit better for you. It is the perfect time to do that because it is kind of like smack in the middle of the year. I mean, a little bit later, but you know. We still got a lot of months to go, so this is the perfect time to experiment, and trial and error is what's required for us to find planner and journal peace in my channel, at least. I feel like a lot of people change, and I really embrace change. I like change because my journal system or ecosystem or techo kaigi, whatever you want to call it, is going to evolve with me, and I'm constantly learning more and more about myself throughout this process, so things are going to evolve over time. And I really embrace that, and I love that. At the end of this year, who knows, this might all all change again, but until then, this is the system that I'm going to try to adhere to. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed your time here and hanging out with me and just diving real deep into my journals. There will be more coming your way soon. If you love journaling and planning content, I do an analog reset every single month at the end of each month to reset for the month. I show you a flip through of all the pages that I completed in the previous month, like all of that fun stuff. It is coming up soon, and like I promised, my planner system, if you will also come shortly, I think in August. If you like content on slow hobbies and intentional living and just like the vibes here in general, please go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you here. Cheers to more meaningful days ahead, and let's do this again soon. Bye.